And just like that, we are back with the latest installment of the Height Lock. Last time we made some decent progress. We were able to get all the way to Paniola Town, clear How 4, and then we got our encounters in Paniola Ranch and back on Route 4. So at this point, we're actually going to do some stuff that I didn't talk about last time. Because I realized while looking back through my notes that there are a decent number of I don't know why it's showing up as... Oh, you know what I just realized? I have not had the correct time on my computer for a couple of days now. Yeah, I have been running, I think, 12 hours behind for the last couple of days. Oh well, probably won't affect anything. But anyway, what I was saying is that we're going to back up to Mele Island, because it looks like there are a couple of things that we forgot to pick up while we were there. Just a couple of Tauros-based items that I didn't think to grab at the time. So one of them is up here on Route 3. And what's the other one? It's not that. We can't get Wide Lens. We already got Confide and Fling. Ah, Expert Belt. That's it. So still a Route 3 thing, but Route 3 adjacent. And I did go ahead and go into the file in between streams to add farmable items that we've gotten a hold of, that we got a hold of during the last stream. And I'm going the wrong direction because muscle memory and also Seaward Cave is really easy to miss. But yeah, the Expert Belt will be nice to have around. I'd rather get it now than be wondering where it is down the line. Oh my gosh, so many enemies. Ah, crap. Overshot. Maybe I should just go ahead and use a repel. There we go. That went well. I kind of just flew blind there. Welcome to the stream, Rafkin. Welcome to the stream, Be Marching. Good to see both of y'all. decided to duck back and grab a couple of items that I had forgotten to pick up while we were still on Mele Mele Island. Now that we've taken care of that, it's back to Paniola Ranch. Oh. I forgot. Well, I forgot where I was going for a second there. Okay, let's see. So, once we get fishing, this spot is technically available for Barboach. I'm a bit too lazy to bother with that until we actually need it. I will, however, grab a handful of netballs and a handful of timer balls. Just because both of those are pretty decent for, well, just about everything that we have to deal with. We already got our Lillipup encounter here. So at this point, it's just a matter of making our way through the last of this route and on to Route 5, and then we have to push through to Brooklet Hill. So, Paniola Ranch. Yeah, I think the big danger right here is Gentleman Gerald, who has Sableye. There's also someone named Breeder Amanda who has a Lillipup and a Growlithe. So, let's see. Do we have any fairy types on the team at the moment? No. Bring Zipper onto the team to deal with that Sableye. Because I don't want to have to deal with this guy spinning every time I try and come through here. Any chance of a one-shot here? Thank you. Oh, it was a crit. I don't know if that crit honestly mattered, but I'll take it. Now, we do want a couple of these Pokemon on the team for specific reasons here. For example, right now I'm bringing out Beige and Hiking because they'll match up well into the double battle that we could wind up in, and I'd rather just clear that out of the way. These guys. Oh. Oh no, it's a different double battle that I was thinking of. Ah well, this'll still work. It's a different double battle that I was really concerned with, but I don't mind getting this one out of the way as well. Okay, we didn't take any damage there. Okay, so it looks like it's what's his face first, Gladion. And I do need to remember to take it slow here because I am still avoiding encounters. So, Gladion leads with Zubat, and then he has type Null. Does Hiking still have Sharpen? I can't remember if I still have that on in this. Okay, yes. Okay. Yeah, we completely wall this Zubat. I might set up a Harden just to make sure we're gaining as much health from leftovers as he's dealing with Bite or Wing Attack. Yeah, I'm just speeding this up because maxing out my attack with Sharpen is a slow and tedious process. Okay, Smackdown. Won't bother with Reflect for now because we have a TM for it. Okay, we took care of that. That particular Gladion fight is never really a big issue, but I wanted to play it safe. Go ahead and heal up. And now we'll clear out the double battle that I was concerned with. So these guys have a Rufflet and a Vullaby, both of whom are carrying Fury Attack, which is pretty frightening. We're gonna start by doubling down on the Rufflet. I just really don't want to get into this battle when I'm not prepared to do something big first turn. Yep, they double targeted Beige, but that's fine. We just needed to survive one turn to make this a 2-on-1. Beige is up to level 20. Beige is currently our highest level Pokemon, by the way. send in Cutoff. Cutoff should be able to take the hit pretty well. It might get its berry plucked right off the bat, but that won't do anything extra for the opponent. Okay, and they decided to target hiking. That's actually helpful because a 5-hit Fury Swipe, or Fury Attack into Cutoff could have actually been kind of dangerous if it had a couple of crits mixed in there. Okay, go ahead and heal up. Now, who was our best Pokemon for trying to bait Paris on Brooklet Hill? And yes, this is still a pseudoscience, but I'm still rolling with it. Oh, we definitely want it to be daytime. I almost forgot. I need to make a note of that. Hold up. Okay, so the nice thing about this situation is that we already have Wingull, and we already have Lillipup. So Paris makes up 50% of our legal encounters right now. That said, there's still a 25% chance that our first encounter is Poliwag, and a 25% chance that our first encounter is Dupiter. Who has a particularly bad matchup? Into Paris. Huh. Yeah, this should be fine. Wait, there is the alternative, which is we could level up Suspender to level 20 and get Charge Bug. That's a pretty bad matchup for the other two, but it's also still a good matchup into Paris. You know what? I'm just gonna roll with this. Okay. Let's give held items to the Pokemon that can hold them, just so I don't forget later on. Oh, I'm so stupid. I just realized this is... Okay, this is nighttime? Hold up, we're going to run away from this fight. Why am I so dumb? Don't worry, Psyduck is over 2 feet. Save. Don't move at all, and we restart the game so that now the clock can resync. Oh, having to deal with the day-night cycle for encounters is actually so annoying. Yes! Okay. We got a Paris encounter. This does a couple of things. First of all, it means that out on Route 5, assuming we catch this, which I'm going to go ahead and toss a netball real quick. So, assuming we catch this, first of all, it means that back out on Route 5, we now have a 66% chance of getting Formantis as our encounter, and if we get Formantis, then we guarantee, what's it called? Comfey in Lush Jungle. And you know what? You get to be Polka Dot Shorts. Let's see. Second, if this thing has dry skin, it completely trivializes the upcoming totem. So let's see the Polka Dot summary. Effect Spore. Okay, we didn't get that lucky. It'll still be usable into the upcoming totem. It's just not... It just doesn't trivialize it. It also has a pretty bad nature, but it has some potential uses down the line. Send you to a box right now. And now we have Lapras on our ride pager, so that's about all we wanted to do to prep here. I don't even have to heal up. It did no damage during that battle. So, at this point, what's our best bet for baiting in Formantis? I'm thinking a Rock type. Rock type has a good matchup into Caterpie, and a bad matchup into Formantis. And we got Charge Beam. It won't really come into play here, but we got it. Okay, that's Pick-a-Peck. We don't need that. Same old song. Really? Grubbin, which has been our encounter in this route every time so far, but we've already got a Grubbin this time. Hold up, I'm going to double check this before I do something potentially stupid. Let's make sure that Formantis can be encountered during the day. So we're in that grass patch, so this is the table for it. Yes, it can be encountered during the day and at night. I mean, we could rappel through this route forever in order to reduce the chances of getting something else even more, but I honestly don't think it's necessary. I'm probably about to regret that, but... Metapod is too tall. Yes, there we go. Okay. And you can be Camo Shorts. Let's see your summary, because why not? So it's going to have Leaf Guard. Minus attack nature is pretty bad. overall not a very good Formantis, but you know what? It did exactly what it needed to for us, which was be a Formantis. That was my sum total of expectations. Metapod would be absolute garbage is the thing. I can't afford to have just... It's really not going to work that well to have Pokemon there for fun as opposed to use. Oh. This guy has a Paris and... Spinnerack, I believe. Yeah, even paralyzed, there wasn't really much to worry about. I kinda need to try hard at this stage of the game because just hoping things work out clearly isn't going to play well for me. Okay. So we are going to take a second, save the game. And I'm going to double check and make sure that we have everything we need to at this point. So we don't want any new encounters from surfing, so Ride Lapras doesn't make a difference for us. It would have if we had wanted the Wingull encounter in Kala'e Bay, but we're going to be using Wishy-Washy instead for that area. Now, yeah, Melee C, we don't add anything important. The only thing that we could get right now is an item. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything else that we need to take care of, so... we are going to fire up our external tool and make the adjustments that we need to. So a few things that we're going to go ahead and do with some of our newer Pokemon that we've got enough levels, we've got enough space in their leveling that we could hypothetically fully EV train them. We're going to max out Suspender in HP and defense. We'll put the last few into attack, because why not? As far as Polkadot goes, I would invest in speed, but that minus speed nature pretty much throws that idea out the window. So, max in HP, and we'll crank up special defense on Suspender. No real reason not to. I'll put the remainder into speed, but it really won't make a difference. And then with camo, max HP, max attack. And just a tad into speed, because why not? Now, let's look at who else we could hypothetically train up at this point. Well, let's look at who else we're going to want on the team. The obvious one is Cotton Shorts, who, yeah, max speed. And does that add up perfectly? You're not an offensive Pokemon. Oh wow. Cotton had just enough stats to spread around to max out HP and speed. So that's kind of a no-brainer. Hiking is level 19, so we probably couldn't get too many EVs on it. But I think we can at least safely bump it up to 100 HP. Like, that's not even that unrealistic. I'm probably lowballing there. Do we have enough room to max out speed on Toucan? Or on Trumpy? Cut off. Can you do 252? No, but you can do 242. Yeah, we'll roll with that. Drawstring. You have... You're level 17, so we have a good bit of room on you. I'm gonna go ahead and max out HP. And then... we'll bump speed up to 120. That seems reasonable. I feel like we could do that pretty easily in this level cap. A lot of these are Pokemon that we're not even going to wind up using. Boxer is at level 17 as well. We'll go ahead and max out Boxer's speed. And bump attack up to 150. 148. Nice round number for it. That should be pretty doable. We'll max out speed on Work Shorts. And we'll bump attack up to 120. With the ones that are close to the level cap right now, I'm just kind of eyeballing about how many EVs we could fit in. Zipper, you're level 17. Yeah, that's enough room to get you to max speed and go for 60 special attack. Jorts will maximize your attack and get you up to 120 speed. And I think that's everyone. So yeah, other than that, we're going to add in the berries that we just got access to. What other berries did we just get access to? So Route 5. Oh, it was just Rostberry. Well, apparently we had never added cherry berries. Oh, maybe we never actually went to the Route 3 tree. Okay, that's fine. Well, we've added them now. Doesn't really make a difference. Okay, we took care of that, and now we just restart the game. I'll just go ahead and level up who's in my party and then level up who isn't. I'll leave a little bit of wiggle room on, I don't know, a couple of the grass types, probably. Actually, you know what? I won't leave wiggle room, but I'll use Boxer to deal with the grass types with his high-power fighting Z move. Ominous Wind. Sure, that's better than Astonish. Cotton wants to learn Razor Leaf. Totem Wishy-Washy gets +1 defense, so yeah, Mega Drain is better on accuracy and will be better on damage if we wind up using it, which we probably won't. Okay, we've shifted all of those guys out of the party. Yeah, Fury Cutter is better than Scratch, so sure. yes, we'll have you learn Spark in place of Mud Slap. Or 5, 6. Acrobatics. We'll go ahead and drop Bite for that. It's a slight improvement. 20. And Suspender is yet again a Pokemon that we can actually evolve. Only once, but we can evolve Suspender. Go ahead and drop Leafage for Ingrain. A slight hit to accuracy on having Razor Leaf won't be a big deal. Sure, we will drop Odor Sleuth for takedown. It could make for a decent Z move at the very least. No Print, I'm afraid you are not evolving. Oh, but you can learn Workup, sure. Actually, you know what? If we ever use you, it's going to be a supporting role, and we have the Workup TM, so no, you can't learn Workup. Roar. Unfortunately, I don't think Roar fills any particular role. Alright. That's the team. Well, that's everyone leveled up. Those ones, and see, this is a bit of a tricky call. On who to include as number 6. Honestly, I think we might just stick with Print. Because Print will work as a potential sacrifice. That's about it. Print we can pivot in and either have it go down or have it fire off a Baby Doll Eyes or a supercharged normal Z move based on takedown. Any of those are valid options. The rest of the team I've actually got specific roles in mind for. I need to check something real quick as well. Back on Brooklet Hill, we got Paris. Okay, yes, Dry Skin is one of its optional abilities, I just didn't get it. For a minute there, I wondered if I was going crazy. I was like, maybe Paris. Maybe Dry Skin is the hidden ability, but no, I've checked that multiple times. We can confirm that is not the case. Now, there are a few strategies that we can draw on here. Actually, quite a few. Most of them don't involve too much direct damage. For example, Confide. If we teach Confide to Cotton in place of Growth, and we can go ahead and teach it to a couple others, I think, at the same time. What item is Wishy-Washy carrying? I want to double check this. Citrus Berry, that's right. It's a bit of a pity that Polka Dot doesn't have Bug Bite, but it's manageable. We'll drop Absorb for Confide. Absorb isn't going to do much of anything. And Camo will also teach you Confide, I think. Yeah, sorry Camo, you are not likely to become a setup sweeper on my team. Okay. Now, Confide is a pretty core strategy for this team because Wishy-Washy is a special attacker exclusively. Wait, really? Paris can't learn Infestation. How is that the case? I was really certain that it would be able to. Drop Acrobatics for Light Screen, because why not? Yeah, I was so certain that Infestation would be an option for Paris. I didn't even bother checking because that just seemed like a no-brainer. Well, if that's the case, we might as well drop Protect on in a couple of places. I think with current strategy, Poison Powder is more likely to see use than Stun Spore. When does Polka Dot get another bug move? Not until late game. How does this thing not get Infestation? It would make so much sense. Oh, I guess it gets Leech Life, which we pick up pretty early on. Yeah, that is so weird. But you know what? We're not planning to use this thing offensively. Drop Fury Cutter for Protect. We'll put Protect on a couple of these guys in case we need to stall Leech Seed turns. We have room on Cotton's moveset. And Cotton will be getting leftovers. In fact, I think all of our little grass types here will be getting leftovers. And drop Fury Cutter. It's a pretty garbage move. Like, it's better than some things, but it's not something that I want to have to rely on. If I wind up in a situation where I have to rely on Fury Cutter in this fight, I will be losing this fight. Okay. Let's talk about held items now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Actually, you know what? It's not a bad... You know what? That is a bad place for it. So, Polka Dot, Cotton, Camo. All those three are getting leftovers because there are stalling Pokemon. Citrus Berry goes to Suspender. Boxer's already holding Fightinium Z. And we'll give Print a Normalium Z. And that should be enough to deal with this. We do have to deal with some annoying random chance because Cotton does have to hit with Leech Seed to make the recovery reliable. Oh. Okay. Z Brick Break. Another Z Brick Break. Luckily, basic Wishy-Washies aren't that much to worry about. Got a TM for Scald. Don't really have a use for that right now, but... almost wandered into that guy's aggro range. Okay. Drop a save in case we crash. And then we'll be leading Cotton, because like last time that we used Cotton, priority number 1 is just to get Leech Seed on both Pokemon. Well, no, priority 1 is to get Leech Seed on one of the Pokemon. School of Wishy-Washy. Also, as it turns out, apparently Totem Wishy-Washy isn't visibly larger than Pokemon of the same species. Like, it isn't visibly larger than other Wishy-Washy, in much the same way that in the way that all the other Totem Pokemon are. Okay, we got our Leech Seed up. And it didn't bother attacking us turn 1, so we don't really have a reason to worry about Protect stalling quite yet. Use Confide. And that Wishy-Washy sets up with Aqua Ring. Soak removes Stab, so we don't benefit from it on any grass moves, but we don't have any offensive grass moves anyway. So now that we've eliminated the Rain boost, we're going to take a second to drop a Leech Seed on the other Wishy-Washy. So the other Wishy-Washy will be healing with Aqua Ring, meaning it'll take longer for it to go down than the big one. And at this point, it's just a stalling game. Oh, I meant to put on intense music for this. One sec. There we go, something a little bit more upbeat for the boss fight. And you know, this one actually fits really well with Rain if you know Pokemon XD. If you know what team Mirror B runs in Pokemon XD, then you'll know why this one makes sense in Rain. Just keep nerfing Wishy-Washy. Direct damage is not necessary for beating this fight with Cotton. In fact, at this point, I don't really know if there's a way that we can lose. I know that at the very least it would take several back-to-back-to-back crits. And even then, I think we would be able to switch out enough to avoid that even being an issue. Yeah, at this point, even the two of them combined can't do enough damage to overcome my Leech Seed recovery. And the Wishy-Washy on the left doesn't really like to do damage anyway. For a brief second there, I thought that it was using Water Gun into the other Wishy-Washy, and I was like, what? Yeah, we are going to try and make, hopefully, a good bit of progress here. Oh wait, we don't need to use Confide anymore. We'll drop a Cotton Spore on them, just so even our slowest Pokemon can outspeed. We are at the point where it wouldn't be a bad idea to have an offensive move, because it would help us speed this process along, but we've already won this match. I love the little flames coming up around the totem wishy-washy. Just around this tiny little fish. It's so cute. Let's see, do any of our Pokemon in the back... Yeah, I guess Polkadot could drop Poison Powder on the one on the left to speed things up. Camo does have Razor Leaf. We're going to Polkadot. Surprisingly, Polkadot actually has some strong uses in this run, just because it can throw around, whatchamacallit, it can throw around Spore. That's about it. That's all I really expect it to do outside of this specific battle, but it can throw around Spore, and that will nerf the crud out of pretty much anyone we have to deal with. So, Poison Powder on this Wishy-Washy. There we go. That'll speed the process along. So now we got the Leech Seed chip, and we've got the Poison chip. And you know what? We'll even bring in Camo for a cameo. This thing isn't even choosing to go for damaging moves when it doesn't have an ally to use Helping Hand on. It's got kind of iffy AI. And Camo does a little dance as if it actually did anything. Is there anything else we need to pick up from Brooklet Hill? I don't think there is. No, we already got the Scald TM, so... And now we have our fishing rod. And some dive balls. But yes, give me a lift back to the Pokemon Center. Alright, we've got our fishing rod. Which means we can go back to Kala'e Bay and pick up a Wishy-Washy. I believe it's guaranteed. Let's double check. Like, I don't even think we need bubbles for it. So, walking is that bunch. Fishing is that bunch. Okay, so two things. One, it's technically not guaranteed. And two, we definitely don't want bubbles. Because... Oh. Thank you, Mirrorby. So, number one, it's not guaranteed because Shelder is in all the same spots as Wishy-Washy. And two, we don't want bubbles because without bubbles, Shelder is only a 1% encounter rate, which makes us 20 times as likely to get Wishy-Washy. And I like those odds. Now, let's get a more typical team back together. Yeah, this'll do for the moment. We still can't purchase super repels. Okay. All this taken into account. Let's do our backtracking and get wishy-washy immediately. Now, we won't bother doing anything on Melee C. Because we don't want to get our encounter on Melee C. Oh, Oricorio, how I'd love to catch you. Soon we will get another chance. Okay, first things first, we use a repel. Because apparently we can't quite get the fishing encounter we want from over here, and we, once again, definitely don't want bubbles. Now, with that said, this is a 70% chance to I forgot that I don't want it on speed up when I'm trying to reel in. This is a 70 or 80% chance to encounter Magikarp, so I'm actually surprised at how fast that Wishy-Washy turned up. Dive ball, go. And you know what? No, actually, I was going to say that this one could be board shorts, but no, this one is swim shorts once again. Wishy-Washy, welcome to the team. What's your deal? Swim shorts. Welcome to the stream, Cindafe. How's it going? Okay, higher special attack than attack, plus speed is kind of dumb because it won't really do much on such a slow Pokemon. But overall, this looks doable. Yeah, this definitely looks workable. We'll be sending you to a box, Swim Shorts. Oh. Except while we're here, might as well stop and grab a TM for Roar. Speedy mono grass run? Does that mean you're only using fast grass types, or does that mean you're just kind of going speedy? Going through the game speedy. That does make a little bit more sense just because it's a lot easier to define than speedy grass types. But I had to check, you know. Yeah, this is attempt number 24 of the height lock of Pokemon Sun. To be fair, there have only been like 3 really serious attempts. There have only been 3 attempts that made it past Ilima. So there's an argument to be made for this being attempt number 3. But I did count the number of times I had to reset early in the game to get Pokemon with decent stats, or because I died to Teacher Emily or Ilima. Other than those 2 trainers, other than Teacher Emily and the fight with Ilima prior to the first trial, the only battles that have killed me were Totem Lurantis on my first long run and Totem Mimikyu on my second. Yeah, they are. I have to do some pretty serious hoop jumping to get the dupes set up to try and get decent encounters. For example, we are actually coming up real quick here on one of the most important counters in this run. You have a Cottony in your monograss run. I do like to use Cottony and Whimsicott. Those little sheep are pretty good. Yeah, we are coming up on one of the most important encounters in this run, as it will entirely determine just how hard I have to plan for Totem Lurantis. If on Route 6 we can get a hold of an Oricorio, then we're in a decent situation. If we can't, then we're in a lot of trouble and I'm scared. So yeah, it looks like we're going to want a daytime encounter for our best shot at this Oricorio. Well, actually, no, it's the same chance at Oricorio, day or night, but it's between Igglybuff in the day as one of the secondary options and Rattata at night. So yeah, I'd rather gun for the Oricorio in the day and have a somewhat decent chance of Igglybuff and some alternative. You've got 3 gym badges. Okay, so it's not a Nuzlocke. I mean, that's kind of fair. Kabu would be pretty nightmarish in a Nuzlocke, honestly. Boxer, here you go. Time to learn Bubble. So you're not Dynamaxing in this run? extra little bit of challenge. Truth be told, I've never done a Nuzlocke in Pokemon Sword or Shield with only... Yeah, you did say Pokemon Sword. I've never gone through Sword or Shield without Nuzlocking. In most of the runs that I've done, I expect it's possible, but... more routing effort and stuff, and I might have to run calcs, and if I can manage to avoid calcs in a run, I prefer to do so. Yeah, Lotad line is definitely a strong draw. I think you could also potentially get something with enough speed and rock type coverage. That might manage to do it, especially if you set up like a if you went with like Cherry or Rostberry into a substitute. But of course, it pretty heavily depends then on whether Kabu decides to go for damage against a grass type or burn. Wait, so oh, that's right. Isn't the Lotad line a Shield exclusive? So I'm guessing you picked up Rock Slide or Stone Edge TM or something along those lines for rock coverage? Or did you find something else that I'm not thinking about because I haven't played those games in a minute? Well, see, now you've got me curious. Don't leave me hanging. Okay, let's see. And this team should be fine for trying to catch Whimsicott. And while we're on our way through here, I'm going to finally deal with this. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to finally deal with this guy. Because I'm sick of dodging him, and I've got the right Pokemon for it right now. What the... You don't get access to Rock Tomb or Rock Slide until after Gym 6. Yeah, I thought that might be the case, but you could still get Stone Edge if you're willing to deal with the inaccuracy just from one of the traders in the wild area. It would take a lot of grinding to make it happen, so I can understand not wanting to. And while we're over here, we'll go ahead and get Scope Lens as well. Okay. All out pummeling for the one shot on the Tauros. Truth be told, I'm starting to think that a no evolved Pokemon run in this, or no fully evolved Pokemon run, might actually be easier than a Height Lock. Funny story about Stone Edge. Why do I feel like this is going to end with Stone Edge Mist? Because that whole thing about it having 80% accuracy is about 60% higher than what it seems like. Only 2 grass types in the entire Pokédex that can learn it. Is Grookey's line not one of them? I could be wrong. Oh wait, in the entire Pokédex, well, considering Cradilly... Oh, Cradilly can't even learn it? Dang. Breloom in the Turtwig line. Or are you just talking about the Galar Pokédex? But Breloom with max speed might actually be just enough to pull through there if you don't miss any rocks, any stone edges. I mean, I know that Cradily isn't available in Galar. Breloom isn't? Look, it's been a minute since I played the Galar games. I don't know who's in there anymore. Okay. What does this lady have? Lillipup and Growlithe, piece of cake. I knew Turtwig wasn't in the game. Oh, so Cradily's fossil, I'm guessing, is available in the Crown Tundra. Okay, so we got rid of those idiots. Alright, here on Route 6... Yeah, I never got the DLC for Sword and Shield. I wouldn't mind it. It would make some runs more doable and might inspire me to revisit those games, but I did a lot of playthroughs of Pokemon Shield when it was newly-ish out. Okay, so I think the only required fight on this route before we can get to Oricorio is the Team Skullgrunt. And it looks like in several cases Boxer is going to be the best matchup into this, but Team Skullgrunt not so much. I'm thinking if we send in Drawstring with a Pecha Berry, that should pretty easily deal with the Drowsy. Okay. There's that kid. We don't want to enter this grass up here at the top. We actually definitely need to go farther south. Come on, Cinderfay, you're keeping me in suspense here. I'm guessing it's a pretty long explanation. Oh, or you were looking up, you were double checking Stone Edge numbers. To be fair, if Cradily, Virizion, and Tapu Bulu. Oh dang. So for obvious reasons, none of those are options. And you're pretty short on water type coverage for grass types without Ludicolo. Sell off 50 big nuggets. Yes, I am curious. You've built up the suspense quite well. I mean, I can think of strategies that might be the basis for it, but I don't know how you actually pulled it off. Sitrus Berry for Drawstring. And now we switch Boxer up front. I'm pretty sure oh, I almost had a bit of a dumb moment. Hold up, we're going to save and restart the game to resync it with my system clock so that it gets back to daytime. Okay, Pick-a-Peck isn't who I want. Lillipup, well, Pick-a-Peck and Lillipup I already have dupes for. Really? No Oricorio? This... The Lurantis fight is gonna suck. So hard. Okay, looks like Drifloon just became the most important Pokemon for the Lurantis fight. Oh. Ah, here we are. Ignore the spelling issue. Let's see, Knickerbocker's summary. At least have contrary, please, or competitive. Thank you. Competitive makes this at least usable. And I am reading your explanation. I needed to deal with the fact that I didn't get the Pokemon that makes Totem Lurantis reasonably reliable. And now I'm frightened. So very frightened. So I'm assuming your Tangrowth has ancient power. Could even potentially go for a Chlorophyll sweep. Or Chlorophyll setup to get the jump on Centiskorch. I don't know how its speed compares to Tangrowth. Okay, well, this is a rough scenario. Because I would really like almost nothing more than to have a Whimsicott right now to basically guarantee the Totem Lurantis fight. As it is, that is now not an option. We won't get another shot at Whimsicott. Or, not Whimsicott, Oricorio. Won't get another shot at Oricorio until... or Ula Ula Meadow. You know, while we're in this town during the daytime, I'll grab a couple of nectars. How often do they respawn? Looks like only once a day. Okay, well, this run just decided to get stressful. What all do I need to pick up from this town before I... Okay, so we get access to some berries from the shop. However, I think they're just Puffin or Pokeblock berries. I could be wrong. The rest TM is from the NPC Hypno. Okay, so that's how I get the TM for rest. Had to double check, because there are a lot of obscure things. We'll even read the text on this. Something written on his chest. I'm just a poor Hypno, share some love. So yeah, we have a beggar in disguise as a Hypno. And are you the guy who gives out free? No. You. Are you the guy who gives out free berries? I know that someone here gives random free berries. You? There we go. Okay. Tomato berry is one of our stat adjustment berries. So maybe the other two are as well. I can't really remember. Okay, before we bother with the Battle Royal Dome, we are going to head up here, break out our repels, hold up actually, I need to double check here. Okay, so it looks like we don't actually want repels here. This PQ Mewq is by surfing. So Route 7 and Hano Beach. What else is available on Hano Beach? Okay, so if we don't get PQ Mewq here, we get PQ Mewq on by surfing on Hano Beach. So it's worth trying for our encounter. Besides, we get access to Thunderwave here. Got a bad crit. Almost killed Tangrowth. What the? How did you see me? You know what? Let's see how much your Marini takes from an all-out pummeling. I know it's resisted, but I've got a couple of Pokemon in the back that can deal with this thing if needed. So you had to make the call between a bit of Protect stalling or another growth. I think 2 more Brick Breaks might actually finish this. Oh, just 1. Okay, so Arcanine is about to go down from Leech Seed. That explains why you had to make the call. Okay, slip past that lady. Snag a TM. And somehow we still haven't had an encounter on the water. Unless it happened and I just wasn't paying enough attention. Honestly, Protect was the safe play there. It makes sense. Okay. Tentacool doesn't do anything for us. We can't catch it. It's too tall. And it looks like we're stuck with Finneon for the moment. Honestly, Finneon might be the better option as far as the upcoming match. But it would have been nice to lock in PQ Mewq or to get PQ Mewq early. Get ourselves some extra bulk. Alright, what type of shorts are you, Finneon? You can be capris. And let's see your summary. I don't know if any of it really matters. High special defense is nice for the upcoming fight. Swift swim could come up at some point. That's about it. Okay. I am still reading what you're writing. I'm just checking other stuff at the same time. I need to double check something. Z moves. Okay, so into protect or detect, it's 25% damage. See, this is the one time where it becomes a problem so far that my rival has Dartrix instead of one of the others, because otherwise I could easily go in there and just utterly wreck Gladion's type null with a Z attack. You know what? We'll play this safe. So Yahweh's Trial. It's a level 22 level cap, it looks like. Yeah. Yahweh's Trial is a level 22 level cap. If I go ahead and upgrade Boxer to that point, that might give us just the edge we need to not have to worry about... Nah, that's too risky. You know what? We're gonna play this nice and simple and straightforward. Oh wait, no, we can't do that because... Geez, we have a garbage matchup into Kiawe's Trial. I am actually just going to go ahead, level up Boxer. Go for it. So I think that's the fastest way to deal with this. Power up punch in place of Leer. Sure, why not? Alright, time for some button mashing. I don't like this because I do have to risk the powerful pluck from Boxer, but I genuinely think this is the most reasonable way to do this because just about everything I have takes super effective damage from one of these three, or takes a lot of damage from type Null. Z Brick Break, All Out Pummeling into type Null because it can't use Protect. All we have to do is survive. Oh, it doesn't have Pluck, it has Peck, so actually, this is good. The bug dies in one hit. So did you high roll or get a crit or just have your calculations off? Okay, and we just got the freedom to go up the mountain. Does the Centiskorch have a set nature or set IVs? 'Cause that could contribute to it. Alright, let's take a look real quick here. So, we already got our encounter on Route 7, as well as the only important item there. We can't influence the... minus special defense nature, that'd do it. Nice. Fair is fair. At that point, as long as you did enough damage, you were probably in the clear. Because you could have come in with something faster than Centiskorch, which isn't that hard, and finished it off. But still, that is pretty wild. Okay, so on Willow Volcano Park. Really can't influence the encounter at all. All we can really do is hope for a Salandit. Because Salandit is more or less the best encounter here. Cubone is manageable and Fletchling is meh. I suppose Magby, hang on, is Magby is too tall. Yeah, that is a pretty tight... That is a pretty tight matchup. I can understand why you calced it out and stuff, because that's the kind of situation that'll make you sweat. Oh, hold up. Give you another Pechaberry for this fight. For this. Encounter. Okay, looks like our encounter is a Fletchling. Switch into hiking before we do... Oh, really? You're gonna do this to me. I have a nest ball. I do. You know what? No, I'm not going to try and use a nest ball as much as I like the idea of a bird and a nest ball. Now, I was looking at a bit of a funny, kind of a meme run for Pokemon Shield. You know what? This one can be short shorts. Short shorts, what's your deal? Big pecs, probably better. Plus speed minus special attack is actually decent. I mean, it takes overheat as coverage out of the equation, but we could get some fast flails. And potentially some fast, whatchamacallit. Some fast feather dances in. Yeah, there you go. Sometimes it works out. Now, let's see real quick. What? Yeah, I think the only Pokemon trainer that I actually have to, or that I actually really strongly want to fight on the way up this mountain is this lady with the totem, or with the Cantonian Meowth. Shouldn't be an issue for cutoff. Now we'll clear the rest of this, get the charcoal, get the TM for Rock Tomb somewhere down here. Okay, so this guy has a Noibat and a Kadabra. The Kadabra is a little bit scary. Oh. Okay, that was way scarier than I expected it to be. We're going into hiking. Stupid Kadabra. Wait, I was looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, he has only a Kadabra in this game. I've managed to avoid him. I shouldn't have been going at high speed here. The hiker is luckily facing off a cliff, so next is B is with fighting types. Yeah, that should be more doable, especially since you have a ghost type. Don't most of... Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've never played Pokemon Sword. But how much of Bia's team actually have dark type coverage? Okay, we've cleared the path now, so now we can do our training to get up to level for Kiawe's trial. And luckily, a couple of the Pokemon involved in that training, we can just fully EV train. Like last time, I'm going to be eyeballing how much how many EVs I give them during this based on how many levels they have before they level up and where they would gain those EVs if we did this to minimize how much XP they were giving per battle. Okay. And this is going to be happening in an external tool because doing the training in-game is just way too tedious, especially if I wanted to do it precisely. So, you... Alright, Boxer's already at level 22, so none for him. Young Goose is at level 20. We will go ahead and max out attack. And how much HP can we afford to put on you? Okay, so that's too much. There we go. Lillipup. You can technically afford some, and you could have afforded some before the last gen, so you know what? Between those two, max HP, max speed. We totally could have fully EV trained you during those, like, 8 levels. If we had gone back to Route 1, I just don't feel like doing so. Hey, Litten is level 20 right now. 2 levels around here. That's a lot. We'll go ahead, bump speed up by 80. Paris, we already fully took care of because we got it at low level and didn't have anything to use it with. Zipper. You have 100 more special attack EVs. Ah, and now for the good one. Now for the really good one. For our Wishy-Washy. It's currently level 12, which means it has 10 levels of leveling to get through. First of all, the obvious bit, max HP. And then, because it's primarily a special attacker at this stage of the game, 252 special attack, and we'll drop the last 6 into speed, because why not? Absolutely possible. And I forgot to set a couple of the other ones. In fact, I forgot to set practically all of the other ones. Now for you, Knickerbocker. Max HP. That might not actually be ideal since you already have kind of a high base HP, but we'll go for that right now. And max special attack to take advantage of that competitive ability. And we'll put a little bit into defense, because why not? For Capri, should have enough room to do most of the leveling that we need to, so 252 into speed. And then let's just go ahead and put 200. You know what? 100 into special defense and 100 into special attack. You. Max speed. And 200 into HP. Again, this boring pause is just taking the place of boring grinding that I wouldn't be able to, that we would just be sitting here doing, and I don't feel like messing with. Hiking has 2 levels, so you know what? I think in that time we could max out HP. We'll leave it at that for now. Put 1 into defense, and 2 into special defense, just to round those off. As for Drifloon, we're going to start pumping speed. Actually, no we're not, and the reason for that is that Drifloon really needs to be boxed until we can Drifloon really needs to be boxed until we can get around to calcing out what it's going to take to beat the Totem Lurantis, because right now Drawstring the Drifloon is about our best matchup into Totem Lurantis. Rest are good. So we got all that. I'll add in the new berries that we've gotten a hold of. So that's tomato. And then from the store we can from the free samples we can also get luck and pineapple. That done, we update the save and restart. You actually like Lotad? Yeah, Lotad's cute. Lotad is cute. If you ever want to try an absolutely disgusting RNG roulette, might I suggest Pokemon Sword or Pokemon Shield using only Metronome. That is the only move you're allowed to use. Because you can actually get a couple of decent Pokemon pretty early on that have that can learn Metronome by TR, and give you an edge. The obvious answer is Togepi, which you can evolve into Togekiss prior to the first gym. Funnily enough, I don't think any of the starters can learn Metronome. Okay, so first things first, we're just going to go ahead and box Drawstring. Drawstring is going to stay boxed until it's time for the Totem Lurantis fight. And now it's time to level up the team. Yeah, it's totally possible. It's a very big risk-based run, especially since you have a chance at any point of having any or all of your Pokemon just decide they want to die and call on whatchamacallit. Yeah, so it's drawstring shorts. All of my Pokemon are shorts. Let's get out those rare candies. Learning Roost, heck yeah. Learning Stealth Rock, heck yeah, again. Yeah, I think you told me about your Mono Ghost run. Learning Poison Powder. You know what? For the moment, we'll replace Protect. Sucker Punch. That works. Drifloon's a beast. Never underestimate the balloon. If you play to its strengths, it can do amazing things. No short shorts, you are not evolving. You would be too tall. Yes, you can learn Roost, though. We'll go ahead and drop Peck, because it's just not a very good move. Okay, that's those guys up to level 22. Time for the next bunch. Oh, I didn't mean to level up Boxer. I should have thought of that. Oh well, I wasn't going to use him for the matchup anyway. Okay, you're finally learning Spore. That's very useful. Polkadot finally has a purpose other than just being a grass type. Sure, why not? You can learn Brine. We're just going to replace it with Scald in a minute, but... Aqua Ring, actually useful. Tearful Look lowers both offensive stats. Sure, we'll drop Growl for that. I also realized that I never picked up the Hidden Power TM from the ranch, so... better than Sand Attack. This is the longest that we've kept a young goose alive in this run. Usually it gets sacked pretty early. No print, you're just fine at the height you are. And you are just fine learning Crunch. You know, one thing that I've been considering lately is potentially revisiting my normal monologue that I once did in Pokemon. I can't remember if it was black or white, because I never remember which is which. Which made it all the way to the champion fight, but due to some mistakes on my part, did not manage to beat Getsis. Oh, hang on. Okay, we save. There's one more thing that we need to do here before we go on. Knickerbocker. Yeah, we're just gonna max out your friendship real quick. I almost searched Knickerbocker to figure out how to do this, but no. 0 to 255. Congrats, Knickerbocker. We are really good friends now. Favorite ghost type? Honestly, it would probably be Drifloon. I am very attached to that little balloon. It has saved my neck in so many runs. Okay, so now friendship is how Knickerbocker evolves, right? I'm not going crazy here. I should double check this before I just start going wild. Yes, it is friendship. Nope, not Paniola Town, Royal Avenue. And for once, this is a pretty rare thing. A lot of the Pokemon we get, we have to restrict their evolution. But Jigglypuff is only 2 feet tall. Double slap? No. Roll out. I mean, it's marginally better than You know what? It's definitely better than Sweet Kiss. We're probably just going to slap some TM moves onto this thing. And leave it at that, but... Alright, let's take a look at one of our new tanky Pokemon. Knickerbocker the Jigglypuff. Tanky and has competitive, meaning if the opponent is using stat lowering options, then we can bait them into that and get a free +2 special attack boost, which is pretty frickin' nice. Okay, let's look at who we might take to the totem fight. a lot of them will be kind of obvious choices, because we have 2 water types that are quite high level. We've got a rock type that is quite high level. Most of the rest of our team matches up poorly into this. Oh, actually, I really want to take Drawstring. I have not successfully gotten a Pikachu because there is exactly one area where I have the chance to get Pikachu. And there's exactly one area where I have the chance to encounter Pichu before I encounter anything else. And it is not being forthcoming. In Howley, so Pichu is actually available in 2 locations, Route 1 and Howley City. The thing about Route 1 is that the first encounter on Route 1 is always Pick-a-Pack. It is always a level 3 Pick-a-Pack, which means I never get the chance for a Pichu. And even if I decided not to count that first one because it is locked in, even if I decided to allow myself a random encounter, odds are I wouldn't even successfully reach the patch of grass where Pichu can be encountered prior to getting another encounter. I'd rather just take the reliable Pick-a-Peck there, especially since it is one of the few Pokemon I have that can evolve. And then in Howley City, it is a 5% encounter rate, with most of the Pokemon there being legal encounters, so it just hasn't happened. Rockruff, so out of the areas that I've been to, and I think in the whole game, Rockruff is only available in 10 Carat Hill, but I've been deliberately avoiding it because Carbink is also available in 10 Carat Hill, and it is easily one of the best Pokemon that I can get, not just early game, but in the entire game. Carbink is inarguably one of the best defensive Pokemon I get access to, so between that and Rockruff, it's like, you know. Print, congratulations, you're coming along. See, I would take Knickerbocker, except Knickerbocker is vulnerable to Salazzle's poison-type moves, which makes it dangerous. Capri, you are going to be leading the team right now. Here's a Waturium Z. I want to double check something. Rain Dance. Z Rain Dance boosts speed by 1 stage. I don't think that's really that necessary. So, Totem Salazzle starts off with +1 special defense. Funnily enough, Dupiter actually did really well into this matchup last time. want some Pecha berries spread around, especially hiking would probably benefit more from that than from leftovers. Okay, we've got a decent amount of Pecha berry spread around. Let's look at moves. So, first things first, Scald to those that can learn it. Yeah, so Rockruff, if we got it, would be pretty directly detrimental. Since we would then not have Carbink until pretty late game. I have to make some hard calls like that because I personally love Rockruff's design, but I just can't afford to actually use it. We need to remember to back up for Hidden Power at some point. I don't think we need it at the moment because no one really benefits from it into this fight, but it is back in Paniola Ranch. Now, the wide lens would actually be useful. Thunder Wave could come in handy. Safeguard could also come in handy. We're getting to the point when we can't really afford to keep these boosting moves on hiking. Oh, I meant to do Safeguard, not Sandstorm. But speaking of hiking's moves, we can definitely go for Rock Tomb. Because it's going to be more useful than Smackdown despite having less accuracy. Reflect, Rain Dance. And we'll go ahead and drop Feint Attack. I have other plans for handling coverage on this one. Light screen on hiking is also good. We do have to be careful about what moves we delete because we don't get access to the move reminder until just before the Elite Four. I think it might not even be until after the Elite Four. I can't really tell. I just know it's up Mount Lanakila. I think that moveset should do the trick, so the plan is pretty straightforward. Capri can go ahead and one-shot all of the trial Pokemon with Z-boosted Scald. That won't be an issue. And then when the full trial comes along, we'll set up Rain Dance to get a hold of Swift Swim, and Z-boosted Rain Dance should hopefully be enough to clear it. Alright, everyone. It is time for the next trial. Hang on, I'm going to double check their items. Water Z, citrus, Petra. Okay. It's about what I wanted. Of course. Middle Marowak. Hydro Vortex. That. The Hiker. Now his Magmar is a little bit scarier, but again, we outspeed and Hydro Vortex should one-shot. See, I'd kind of like to do a Mono Ghost challenge in this, but I'm kind of scared of how it would actually wind up. The Totem Pokemon, the Black Pokemon, the new Pokemon, or the Suspicious Pokemon. Well, that Pokemon is kinda sus. Oh, this fight is never quite as reliable as I'd like it to be, just because it hits so hard, and I can't set up on it with a Pokemon that can actually outspeed it. Okay, for some reason I wanted to go for Flame Burst. Rain Dance means Swift Swim kicks in. And we can fire off our move at double speed and 50% increase in power. Z-Power, Hydro Vortex, and now we target the Salazzle, not the Salandit. That is a very important distinction, because if I misclicked and targeted the wrong enemy, not only would it not kill the Salazzle, but we would have to deal with the Salandit just being resummoned the next turn. Because this Salazzle has a supply of infinite Salandit. Kataya Berry boosted its special attack. It is going for Toxic, though. So, especially since the other one didn't go for Venoshock, we still have a chance. Because we still outspeed thanks to Rain Dance. Another hit on Salazzle will take it down without it being too much of an issue. Now we might lose Capri here. Maybe not. Okay. You know what? To play this safe, we are going to go ahead, switch to Swim. Swim Shorts, come on in. Now, because we aren't poisoned, it'll probably go for Poison Gas. Nope, just Venoshock. Either way, it doesn't really matter. It can't knock us out of schooling form in time for it to make a difference. There we go. Okay, that is another trial down. And now to mash through lore and crud. We got access to Charizard. That's actually quite a nice result of this. Did we get a free heal after that? No, we didn't. Anyway. Alright, so now we can fly, which will save us some travel time. Now, there are a couple of things I want to take care of. One is changing the music, because we're through the intense part. Two is putting our team back together with some semblance of normality. Should actually probably lead with someone faster. Real quick, let's see what moves we can put on that Jigglypuff. Charge Beam is pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie, that is a pretty solid move to get access to here. So solid that I am immediately dropping Rollout for it. We don't need more rock coverage. Echoed Voice could actually be pretty good, especially for a slow, bulky Pokemon. I think I favor that over Round because we're not going to be one-shotting much of anything. But in 2 turns, that does the same damage as Round in 2 turns, and after that, it's just stronger. Wish our Jigglypuff could learn Scald. That would be helpful. However, Thunder Wave is also helpful. Go ahead and drop Defense Curl for Thunder Wave. That should actually be pretty decent. And you can have a Citrus Berry. We still don't have the Eviolite yet. Okay, a couple of things we want to take care of. One, we can duck back here to get a TM. For Sleep Talk, that's actually quite useful. Oh, hold up. You're not who I meant to be leading. I meant to put Cutoff up front. Make it easier to run away from battles. Hidden Power 10. Okay, let's check our special attackers. I know Swim gets Grass because I saw it on the list. What about Jigglypuff? What about Knickerbocker? Flying. Hidden Power Flying could be useful for the upcoming Lurantis fight. I don't know if Knickerbocker has the bulk to survive more than a hit or two in that fight. Hidden Power Ground has good synergy with Rock-type stab, but... Oh, why am I even checking that? It's a physical attacker. Yeah, we have a couple other special attackers. As I recall, Zippers is Poison. I don't know what Capri's hidden power type is, nor Cotton's, nor Drawstrings. Okay, so we need to take a second, figure out what we're doing at this point. Because the next major challenge is the grass-type trial, which we are severely underprepared for without an Oricorio that we can train up to do a crud ton of damage against it. Oh, there are a couple of things that we can see to, though. For example, if we go ahead and duck back over to Melee, fly to our house, since it is now nighttime and we have completed Lana's trial, we can get the wide lens. Nice, okay, so I need to skim back through, actually, to see what stuff we can check off now. Wide lens. Roar. Hidden power. That's about it. So we could try to pick up a Corsola right now, but it doesn't actually do anything for any significant battles until after we clear the grass-type trial. So I don't think I'll bother with that yet. Okay. Sorry, updating a note. Yeah, I'm not seeing too much else that we can do around here. So we'll start pressing farther north. All the way to Route 8. And what battles do we have coming up on Route 8? I don't think we can influence the encounter at all. Yeah, looks like the only really worrying battle is an optional one. So we kind of just have to be careful to avoid spinners. You're not a trainer, correct? Oh, you are, but... yeah, if they turn around to look at you, they're not an issue. This guy gives us the flame charge TM, which could actually be useful into the grass type trial. Here's the thing, I'm not really willing to put in the effort to get the fossil we would need for Rufflet. None of the other fossils are really worth it, so we're just gonna go into the grass and see what we get. Oh. Stop sending Trumbeak my way. Rattata. Great. Oh, what type of shorts are you? Boy shorts. And you probably have hustle. Yep. Because I don't have the luck to get a non-hustle Rattata in this. You know, one that's actually useful outside of its Z-move. Okay, well, we're going at normal speed now. I think we want to cut through the grass back here. Stop sending Trumbeak after me. See, Salandit would have been our ideal encounter, and had I been thinking for even half a second, I would have done this encounter during the day to eliminate one of our dupes at least. I don't know if this route has any berries that we need. Nope. We aren't going to be doing the grass type trial today. We're definitely not. I need to do calcs ahead of time to figure out what the best approach is for it. And that's going to take some time that I don't want to spend on stream today. Oh geez, that guy was a spinner. I didn't even realize. And this guy just revives fossils, which does nothing for us, but we can get a Thunderstone that we're never going to use back here. I knew there was an item, I didn't remember what it was. I suppose I can't really complain about getting that, I can't really complain about getting that Rattata. It was completely avoidable. And oh, whatchamacallit. It was completely avoidable. And there isn't really an especially good encounter here. Honestly, there's an argument to be made that that Rattata is about as good as anything else I would have gotten. He tells me to get out. Those two are trainers that I want to avoid. spin. And we got a big pearl for killing a Wimpod. Feels so accomplished. I can't remember. I feel like I looked at ghost type encounters and for some reason I decided not to go for it in this game, or maybe that it's just that I've already got a couple of potential runs in mind for this game. Not really sure. Okay, well, we'll start by keeping this nice and simple. We'll go and clear the prep work for Mallow's trial. That way I've got all of the essential battles out of the way completely. Route 5. Only thing up here is the TM for Torment. I don't need that. I literally haven't used Stoutland in the time since she gave it to me. Grab a tiny mushroom, Parasect attacks, you pluck it to death in 1. For Mantis attacks, when we approach the tree, we pluck it to death in 1. Can get the TM for Grass Knot. That could wind up coming into play at some point. Got the Revival Herb. And we pluck a Formantis to death in 1. You see why I'm not worried about her trial, while I am worried about... well, just about everything else in this game. Now, after grabbing the big root, I say no. Just starting to cook. I think that's going to be it for today. We'll probably take a second real quick and do some theory crafting. I'll talk through some of the stuff that I'll consider for the upcoming totem fight, because frankly it is important to think these things through. There we go. That should give you a better view of the team. Now, let's talk about Pokemon that have a decent matchup into this fight, just to start off. Well, actually, let's talk about Pokemon that have a bad matchup into this fight, just to start off. So, standing out is for Mantis because it is going to get one shot by X-Scissor. Similarly, our water types do badly into this. However, it is worth noting that there is probably going to be a fire-type cast form on the field by the time we finish this. By the time we bring down the Lurantis. Assuming we do bring down the Lurantis. Yeah, Polka Dot is pretty much unusable into this. As is Cotton, due to a lack of any moves that would actually affect this thing. And it's worth noting that Hiking also has a bad matchup into this. Okay, so those are the Pokemon that are already hit super effectively by Totem Lurantis. Now, let's talk about what on our team actually has a good matchup into Totem Lurantis. We've got a flying type, super effective damage, resists both its moves, will not outspeed it. There's no chance on Earth that we outspeed that thing. Suspender, again, can hit it super effectively, resists its stab move at least, will not outspeed it. Could potentially use Thunder Wave to paralyze it, but then Leaf Guard comes into play, buffing its defenses. We have another flying type. Drawstring actually matches up into this pretty well, but doesn't hit that hard. Notice it has less than half the attack stat of Cutoff, and a little less speed, and doesn't have Unburden as its ability. There is Zipper, however Zipper is extremely frail, making Zipper a less reliable option into it, especially since we can't hit it, we can't pull out like a Bug-type Z move, Struggle Bug cuts its special attack, not its attack, things like that. We have Jorts here, a fire type, actually very good into this fight. We would want to teach it Flame Charge, and there's a pretty decent chance here that we actually just lead with Jorts on a bit of a suicide charge. Now I do want to take a second and consider what moves we're going to get access to on a couple of Pokemon. Because Fletchling, for example, has 2 levels to go. That does not get it far enough to learn... Oh, it just never learns Feather Dance. That's disappointing. Cutoff. What about you? Yeah, unfortunately Cutoff doesn't learn Feather Dance until level 40, so that's out of the equation. However, Cutoff could use Growl to cut its damage a good bit. The risk with Growl is that, for some reason, Cast Form really likes going for Headbutt, which is generally on the better side for us, because it means that we're not taking 100 base power Fire-type Stab Fire-type Weather Ball. And if we start cutting its attack, that will probably change. That said, being able to set up use Growl and set up Roost, and heal up with Roost is a decent thing to remember. Knickerbocker probably has the speed to use 1 or 2 moves against this thing right at the start. Or it probably has the bulk to use 1 or 2 moves against it right at the start, but won't last long. Short is probably a decent option into this. It can learn acrobatics. It can set up with agility. That's about it. See, I don't hugely like any of these. The thing is, we will probably want to bring along one of our water types or hiking in order to deal with the cast form once the Lurantis goes down. So we're kind of in a 5 Pokemon setup here. Cotton Spore no longer affects grass types in this generation, I believe. Cotton Spore. Grass type Pokemon are now immune to Cotton Spore, so yeah, that won't help. Oh, why do we not get the Eviolite until the next island? Or until the next city? Why? If we had the Eviolite, this would become a lot more manageable because we could actually rely on some of our unevolved Pokemon to set up. See, when looking at this, my brain is drawn 2 main ways. On the one hand, we have Suspender, who I've gone out of my way to keep String Shot on. String Shot would cut this thing's accuracy in, or would cut this thing's speed in half, allowing most of our Pokemon to outspeed it. That makes speed a lot less of an issue. Actually, it would cut it by 2 stages, which doesn't actually wind up being quite in half. Actually, it's a little bit... Hang on. Yes, it's a little bit more than in half. Because it starts out at +1 speed, the overall change brings it down to 66% of its original speed, or it starts out at 150% of it. It's a whole thing. But anyway, Suspender would be a decent lead to use String Shot to cut its speed down, potentially chip away at it with Bug Bite. The real risk there is that not much would be able to switch in other than a potential sacrifice. And there are a few Pokemon that I'm looking at in the potential sacrifice category. The obvious one being Short Shorts, who will probably never have another opportunity to make itself useful. Real quick, we are going to go ahead and break out Acrobatics. Okay, a couple of moves that we will definitely be putting on Pokemon. There is no reason whatsoever to not have Flame Charge on Jorts. Go ahead and drop Bite. The thing is, getting pretty much anyone into the matchup safely is going to involve a sacrifice. So I might want to bring a couple of extra sacrificial Pokemon, depending on how calcs turn out. Yeah, especially in this situation, I'm not entirely sure how well Drawstring will actually do. It wouldn't be unreasonable of us to send it to have a Pokemon that we use just for sacrifice. I hate to say it, but Beige is probably the obvious choice there. As much as its stats are a bit better than those of Print here, Print has some potential uses into the Mimikyu fight down the line that I'm kind of leaning towards saving it for. Namely, Thunder Wave and Baby Doll Eyes, the two moves that are there at the bottom of its moveset. Beige has some of that potential viability as well. There are a few ways that we could go for that, and I don't really feel prepared to plan that far down the line quite yet. Though at the very least, since we have Paris, we've already got Komala locked in. I do think we run across a couple of somewhat frightening psychic types, so there's an argument to be made for keeping Boy around. Literally just for that. Just for dealing with annoying psychic types defensively, since we don't have any other dark types or any other psychic resists. Jeez. Why does this run hate me so much? Yeah, a lot of this is going to depend on how the calcs come together. What I'm leaning toward at the moment is leading Suspender, getting off a String Shot, and then potentially a Bug Bite, depending on how much damage we take on turn 1. Now, it's worth noting that String Shot is, I believe, only 95% accuracy, so we would need to hold a wide lens to make this work. Luckily, we have fully trained Suspender in HP and defense, which makes it a little bit more reliable there. Suspender could even potentially throw up a Reflect instead of sending out a Bug Bite, but I'm not entirely certain which would be the better option. This is shuffling, right? Yes, it is shuffling. Oh yeah, it went from Crystal Palace to Jade Jungle. Y'all like the new additions to the playlist? I added a few Paper Mario favorites of mine. Actually, I should probably... Maybe I should add Mount Rugged. That would be a fun one. But Suspender is a pretty solid option in there. If we do that, if we get the String Shot off, then most of our team should be successfully outspeeding that thing, which will make stuff a lot more reliable. If we get a Reflect up, that could allow for some safer switching for a couple of our Pokemon. It might actually make things somewhat reliable for Jorts. Jorts is probably going to be carrying a Firium Z because it's the only useful Z move we have into this fight. And Jorts is the only Pokemon we've got that can make use of fire moves. I really wish we had gotten that Salazzle. That would have been, or that Salandit. That would have been a better encounter than Short Shorts. I'm just double checking and making sure I didn't accidentally duplicate any names. Board shorts. Rest in peace. You did your best. The trouble with that approach is there's a high risk there of jorts going down unless we get a safer switch in and some chip damage ahead of time. So at the moment, what I'm thinking and what I'm going to start calcing out tomorrow is Suspender leads, uses String Shot to bring the Lurantis down to a manageable speed, potentially uses Reflect or Bug Bite. Then we go into Short, who will kamikaze all over them. That's about the best strategy I can come up with for Short. Short probably won't even be carrying an item just to get full power acrobatics right off the bat. Once we've got, and then in the back I will have calculated how much damage needs to be done to the Totem Lurantis to guarantee that a Z-boosted Fire Fang from Jorts can take it out. And then we'll probably bring along Hiking in the back to deal with the cast form, because Hiking pretty soundly walls it. Doesn't really have anything to worry about from it. Should pass out some leftovers real quick to those who need it. And take leftovers away from those who really don't. You should generally be carrying a citrus berry. You need that wide lens. Okay. Let's take a look a bit closer now. See, the other major possibility would be trying to bring in someone to set up growls, but we've already discussed that, and that has the limitation of baiting the cast form to be more likely to use its very powerful weather ball, which worries me. So at the moment, this, or possibly this, one of those two is likely to be the current plan. We could also potentially afford to sacrifice work shorts, or even go and get the Barboach from... Actually, we've got time for that now. You know what? There is one thing we have time to take care of. We zip on over to Paniola Town. That up. Oh, just give me a Barboach already. We want it bubbling because that maximizes the chances of Barboach, and there is literally nothing else that we can encounter here. Oh, Paniola Town. Yeah, bubbling fishing spots, it's a 50-50 on getting Barboach. Keep accidentally starting to fish when I've got it in speed up mode. There we go. We got a Barboach. Dive ball. Oh, what do we name you? Because this is actually... There are a lot of types of shorts, let's just be clear here, but that doesn't make this process super easy or anything. You know what? We haven't used this name yet. This run. Chino shorts. Let's see Chino's summary. Oblivious. Minus attack nature is a bit annoying, plus speed could come in handy. We're going to the box, but at least now we have all of our encounters up till this point. Other than... Hang on. I'm going to go and look at Melee see. Actually, why? I already know that there are no Pokemon that are useful into this next fight. I'll worry about Melee see when the time comes. Oh. Yeah, this is... I am pretty terrified of this battle. Totem Lurantis starts off at +2 speed. So actually, yeah, String Shot will just be enough to get it down to normal speed. We might... Our best bet might actually be to go for String Shot, twice. One thing that we always have to keep in mind, though, is that Totem Lurantis does have synthesis. However, by outspeeding that, it becomes much less of a problem. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff that I need to calculate for the upcoming fight, because I don't want to have to start this over again. If we start it over again, we're going to wind up taking another break, and frankly, I don't want to do that. I would like to beat this challenge sooner rather than later. Take a second and sort these. Okay. Yeah. Okay, at this point, this is the team that I'm kind of looking at. I'll see how Chino factors in. Obviously, Chino would only be good for a sacrifice in this fight. But if I decide that Chino can be our ground type going forward, I might decide to use Work Shorts, who can contribute some speed control, potentially deal with the cast form, or the Trumbeak. Work Shorts has a pretty good matchup into the Trumbeak, so there are options to consider here. Okay, it calls Trumbeak first naturally, which is something that I had forgotten. So I'll need to factor that in. If we don't deal at least a third of the damage to it turn 1, then we're gonna have to deal with the Trumbeak. Which might actually make Workhorse a bit more appealing for this matchup, because Workhorse can come in safely on Rock Blast from Trumbeak, which it's most likely to go for if what it's looking at is Suspender. Yeah, I need to run calcs. I'd rather not do that on stream. And we've been going for a decent while here. I think this is enough for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully we'll tackle this Lurantis. Hopefully I'll be able to come to y'all with a nice, solid strategy. And we can make it work. That's the goal. In the meantime, I'll do some planning, and thanks for watching, everyone. I know this last chunk of the stream probably wasn't the most exciting, but this is a big part of Nuzlocking. Some battles... I'll actually say this. Let's make a big sweeping statement, and I'll switch to the waiting screen while we're wrapping it up. In every Nuzlocke, if you're doing a Nuzlocke, you are going to encounter at least one battle that you cannot beat without some prior planning. The harder the Nuzlocke is, the more battles you're going to have to plan out somewhat carefully. Now, careful planning varies from game to game. In this game, because the teams have because your opponents tend to have either stat boosts in the case of Totem Pokemon, or they have competitive IVs and EVs in the case of trainer battles, carefully planning out tends to mean calcs. It tends to mean actually checking how much damage certain moves will do in certain situations, what you're likely to take from a crit, how much you can make happen prior to needing to switch or having a Pokemon go down. In other games, it might simply be taking the time to look through all of the moves and TMs that you have access up to a point, potentially considering some EV training to maximize your odds, and carefully choosing what Pokemon to bring into the match. It depends on the game. So what we've done here in this last section is a big part of Nuzlocking, despite the fact that it really kind of seemed like nothing was happening. And that's kind of just something we have to roll with, because the alternative is just dying, and I don't think we're going to get through this challenge without careful planning and a not insignificant measure of luck. So that's what we're doing. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for watching and chatting and lurking as you did. And oh, hi Lastborn. I haven't seen you in the chat. I'm guessing you've been lurking. But thanks for hanging out, everyone. I hope to see you next time. Later, folks.